And joining us now is Laura Schwartz. She's a political commentator and author of Eat, Drink, and Succeed. She joins us live now from Chicago. Laura, welcome back to the show. You know, you heard our correspondent just say that things could get even nastier. First of all, how is that possible? And shouldn't we expect to see the candidates make the turn to focus more on the issues instead of each other? I mean, the international community is really having a hard time following this cycle.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Elaine. I love being back on CCTV. And, you know, there is a phrase that all is fair in politics, love, and war. And I think this political season will be unlike any other. I thought we got a great glimpse of it last night. I thought it was terrific that Hillary Clinton took that moment of history to acknowledge that it's just not her, but so many generations and so many great people around her that brought us to the moment of having the first female presumptive presidential nominee for a major political party. But then she did quickly turn to the national general election, and there will be issues at stake, and it will decide on who can be commander-in-chief on day one. So I think it's going to be a very, very hard-fought campaign, and we are just starting to get a glimpse of what's ahead.
At what point, though, could or should we see Clinton rival Bernie Sanders concede the race there? And can he really hold out until the convention in August? And I mean, Hillary, she still has to unite her party as well once that happens.
Elaine, that is such a good question. Now, we saw something similar to this in 2008 when Hillary Clinton was running against then Senator Barack Obama, but everything's different in dynamics. Now, it was 8 years ago to the day yesterday that Hillary dropped out because Barack Obama was ahead in the pledged delegates, and there was no way she was going to rely on super delegates to flip the nomination at the Democratic National Convention in the summer. And so she dropped out gracefully and then really rallied her supporters behind Barack Obama, campaigned for him nearly every day, and immediately threw all of her weight towards him because she made the effort. And I think this is the same thing that Bernie Sanders will have to ultimately do, is to make that known, which divides Donald Trump and his party and the Democratic Party. Those differences way far outweigh any differences between the two of them running a campaign. Now, Bernie Sanders is going to meet with President Obama tomorrow at the White House. There is one more primary in the United States next Tuesday, which is in Washington, D.C. It's his prerogative to stay in. You can only imagine how much hard work and energy and passion goes into a campaign. It's tough just to turn it off, but he has said repeatedly he will do everything he can to take down Donald Trump in the general election, and I believe that he means it, even if he's not the nominee. And hey, as you mentioned, the only way for him to become the nominee would be to ask the superdelegates in the system he's called rigged himself to vote for him instead of who won the pledged delegates by majority, which is Hillary Clinton. So the only way for him to turn this around is kind of going back on what he's been saying all of these months. I think he should go and be a part of the convention. I think Hillary Clinton's team will find a good spot for him, whether that be speaking, whether that be great kind of a combination of platforms, which they'll start working out now. But Bernie Sanders will have to reach the conclusion that mathematically he's not going to get the nomination. He can't have those super delegates flip to get it. So now what can he do, along with all of his incredibly impassioned supporters, to join Hillary on this fight?
And Laura, we have about 30 seconds yet left. Let's briefly talk about Donald Trump remaining under fire with his party. Do you think he will have any support of minority groups by the election in November?
Certainly not all of them. You can't win without women, and what he said about punishing women for looking for health care, what he has said about African Americans, the disabled, what he's saying about the judge in Indiana who's determining his civil suit that was born in Indiana, an American with heritage of Mexican descent. So it just, he seems to be offending every minority group he can. I think he's got to work a long ways back. I think he can work his way back if he sticks to a script and he gets in line with Republicans a little bit. But boy, he's really digging himself deep every day.
All right, political commentator and author Laura Schwartz in Chicago. Thanks so much.
If you like what you just saw, follow us on social media and visit our website, CCTV-America.com.